India is no stranger to queerness. For example, Hindu scriptures are replete with stories and descriptions about queer, gender-fluid people and relationships. These stories celebrated queerness and gender fluidity as expressions of God's infinite creativity, diversity, and power. But Indian attitudes toward queerness changed during British rule. In 1861, the British criminalized carnal relations between same-sex people under Section 377, which led them to harass and intimidate people who were suspected of being gay or appeared, quote, deviant. And here we are today, an independent country fighting internally for equal rights. Yay. Section 377 was finally repealed in 2018, but India still doesn't recognize gay marriage, and sitting politicians vocally oppose it. Serenity now! Despite the progress to advance LGBTQ rights in major cities like Mumbai, Delhi, and Kolkata, the subcontinent as a whole exhibits overwhelmingly conservative views about queerness. Queer people face ample discrimination and judgment, particularly from older generations and in rural areas. Some people consider homosexuality to be an urban Western import, a modern fad, which obviously isn't true, it's always existed. But Indian entertainment has the power to shift our entire society's views about queer people through the mere exposure effect, which suggests that the more we see someone and become familiar with them, the more we like them, and the parasocial contact hypothesis, which says that when we imagine interacting with someone from an external group, even by seeing them on television or in films, it reduces our prejudice and makes us feel closer to them. Scholars suggest that Indian cinema and television are two of the most effective forms of mass communication, and I think it's because Indians tend to extract lessons from everything they consume. It's just how we are. We don't just get lost in entertainment, we almost always use it to reflect on morality and how we can become better people. Openly queer and queer-coded characters have appeared on the silver screen since perhaps 1971, and their portrayals have varied considerably. Past depictions of queerness have typically been superficial, insensitive, or even harmful. Queer characters have been made to look cartoonish to offer comic relief, stereotypically effeminate or butch, suggesting that they all look and carry themselves a certain way, evil or predatory, suggesting that they're always trying to corrupt or convert straight people, and overly sexual to further villainize and fetishize them. Indian entertainment has long exacerbated ideas about queer people that perpetuate to this day, but entertainment can be part of the solution if creators are motivated. In a recent study, when Indian participants were exposed to positive, realistic portrayals of queer people in films, participants reported feeling more empathetic and accepting of queer people afterward. That's really cool. The film Fire in 1997 was groundbreaking in that it centered on two women falling in love. The writing humanizes and respects them, validates their experiences, and acknowledges the struggles of living in a patriarchal society that silences women and their desires.
I didn't think that I was making a film about lesbians, in fact. I thought I was making a film about patriarchy and how it defines women's sexuality, the loneliness, where women find themselves. And if it wasn't for the loneliness, maybe they wouldn't have discovered their own sexuality.
Critics praised the film, calling it sensitive, audacious, and eye-opening, but right-wing activists protested by violently attacking a theater in Delhi, saying that the film promoted anti-Indian values and threatened the institution of marriage, which I find really stupid. In the mid-90s, I think the world just wasn't ready for a film like Fire. Compared to what is allowed today in intimate scenes, this film is quite tame.
They're just moments of just compassion and sweetness. This film for me was like unexpected moments of wonder.
It's really beautiful and artistic. I encourage you all to watch it. Since Fire, more Indian films and shows have attempted to portray queer characters in a realistic, positive light, which is great. It's just taking a while.
You're improving, but it's slow.
Mainstream industries like Bollywood are restricted by censorship rules, while OTT platforms aren't really, leading to the release of more liberal stories and content via streaming. Slowly but surely, writers are giving queer characters the spotlight, along with complex backstories that most of us can relate to in some way. These characters struggle with identity, fear of not meeting their parents' expectations, desire to fall in love and be accepted for who they are. All normal things. The Indian entertainment industry has every reason to invest in queer stories, particularly romances. Most of our films and shows are about romances between cisgender straight characters, the obstacles they face, ending in marriage, family, etc., etc. We are so good at this. We know what smart writing and acting look like in love stories. We know how to compose songs that touch the heart. We know how to use cinematography to intensify emotions and make a scene look beautiful. If creators applied even a percentage of this expertise to queer romance, I think we would have many more films and shows about queer love, not just on OTT platforms, but acceptable to mainstream industries like Bollywood. Because these stories would be seen as sensitive and poignant, filled with longing, sacrifice, symbolism, spirituality, in other words, completely emblematic of Indian values.
मुझे याद आ रही थी तुम्हारी।
तुम्हें डर नहीं लगता?
I miss you. I miss you too.
That's why these questions have come. Because they don't know only enough about us.
We've all been afraid of something or still are afraid of something that we don't understand.
I hope creators take these suggestions seriously and don't deprive us of queer romances anymore, because I think we can all feel uplifted by watching these, even if we don't identify as queer. Next generation films and shows about queer relationships will likely be important tools to help normalize the fact that love is love and convince even the most conservative Indians.
भाग चलेगी मेरे साथ?
तेरे साथ तो कहीं भी चलूंगी।
भूल मत जाना मुझे। इस्माइल इस्मान के आसमान का भूला था क्या?
What are some of your favorite aspects of Indian romances? And what would you like to see applied to queer stories? Let me know. Bye.